Have you ever looked in the mirror and just sighed? Not because of a bad hair day, but because the person looking back at you felt like a stranger. Or worse, a disappointment. There's a voice that whispers, sometimes it even shouts, that you're not smart enough, not attractive enough, not successful enough. Not enough. This feeling, this corrosive sense of low self-esteem, is one of the most common and painful human experiences. It's like walking through life with a heavy, invisible backpack filled with rocks of self-doubt and criticism. It makes you hesitate when you should leap. It makes you stay silent when you have something important to say. It convinces you that love and acceptance are things you have to earn, and that you're constantly failing the test. But what if that voice is wrong? What if the entire foundation on which you've built your self-worth is shaky? What if your value has nothing to do with your performance, your appearance, or what other people think of you? Today, we're not just going to talk about feeling better. We're going to explore the roots of low self-esteem and uncover a profound truth that can change the way you see yourself, permanently. So, where does this feeling of worthlessness even come from? It rarely appears out of thin air. For most of us, the seeds are planted long before we're even aware of them. Think back to your childhood. We enter the world completely dependent, looking to our caregivers for cues about who we are. If we were consistently met with criticism, neglect, or impossibly high standards, we may have internalized a fundamental message. I am flawed. I am not good enough as I am. Our brains, in an effort to protect us, create a mental blueprint of the world. If that early world taught us that our worth was conditional, that's the map we carry into adulthood. Then, we enter the world of school, friendships, and eventually, the workplace. This is where the quiet hum of self-doubt can get amplified. We start comparing ourselves to others. She's more popular. He's smarter. They're more successful. And in today's world, this comparison is on steroids. Social media isn't a highlight reel anymore. It's a perfectly curated, filtered, and monetized fantasy. We're comparing our behind-the-scenes struggles to everyone else's polished final product. It's like trying to win a race against a million ghosts. You can't see their effort, their stumbles, or their secret fears. All you see is their victory lap, and you wonder why you're still stuck at the starting line. Past failures also add weight to our invisible backpack. A failed business, a broken relationship, a goal we didn't reach. Instead of seeing these as events, experiences to learn from, low self-esteem reframes them as evidence of our fundamental inadequacy. It's no longer, I failed at that thing. It becomes, I am a failure. All of these experiences, childhood programming, social comparison, past hurts, come together to create what psychologists call the inner critic. This inner critic is the voice that narrates our lives with a brutally negative script. It's the one that replays our mistakes on a loop. It's the one that tells us not to even try, because we'll probably just embarrass ourselves anyway. It's a relentless prosecutor in the courtroom of your mind, and you are always the one on trial. The truly insidious part of low self-esteem is that it creates a self-perpetuating cycle. It's a feedback loop that can be incredibly difficult to break. It starts with a negative thought, an echo from your inner critic. I'm so awkward, no one will want to talk to me at this party. This thought creates a feeling, anxiety, fear, dread. This feeling then dictates your behavior. You go to the party, but you stand in the corner, glued to your phone, avoiding eye contact. You project an aura of being closed off and unapproachable. Because of this behavior, people don't engage with you much. You end up leaving early, feeling isolated. And what does your inner critic say on the way home? See, I told you. You're awkward. Nobody wanted to talk to you. The behavior, which was caused by the initial belief, has now created an outcome that confirms that exact belief. The loop is complete. The story you told yourself came true, because you, unconsciously, helped write the ending. This cycle doesn't just happen at parties. It shows up everywhere. You don't apply for the promotion because your inner critic says you're not qualified. So, you don't get the promotion, which reinforces the belief that you're not good enough for it. You pull away from a partner who shows you genuine affection because your inner critic says you're unlovable and they'll eventually leave anyway. Your distance causes the relationship to crumble, reinforcing the belief that you're destined to be alone. It's a hamster wheel of self-sabotage, and it's exhausting. It keeps you playing small, living a fraction of the life you could be living. So how do we get off the wheel? Most advice focuses on behaviors. Fake it till you make it. Just be more confident, but that's like trying to patch a hole in a dam with a bandage. You're addressing the symptom, not the source. To truly overcome low self-esteem, you have to go deeper. You have to challenge the very foundation of your worth. You have to find a truth so solid that the waves of public opinion, personal failure, and social comparison can't erode it. And for this, we can turn to a piece of ancient wisdom, a verse that has anchored countless souls through storms of self-doubt. It's from Psalm chapter 139, and it says this: "For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well." Let's just sit with that for a moment. This isn't a self-help mantra. This is a declaration of origin. It proposes a radical idea. Your worth isn't something you build, it's something you were born with. Let's break it down. For you created my inmost being. Your core self, the very essence of who you are, your personality, your quirks, your deepest thoughts, was not an accident. It was intentionally formed. This verse suggests a divine artist who crafted you from the inside out. Then it says, "You knit me together in my mother's womb." Think about the act of knitting. It's not a fast, industrial process. It's methodical, careful, and intricate. A knitter works stitch by stitch, loop by loop, with a pattern in mind. There is care and attention in every single motion. This is the image being presented for your creation. You weren't mass-produced on an assembly line. You were knit. Your specific combination of talents, sensitivities, and even your struggles, were woven together with purpose. And then comes the powerful conclusion: "I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made." The word, fearfully, here doesn't mean scary. In its original context, it means with awe, with reverence. You are awe-inspiringly complex and wonderfully unique. You are a masterpiece. Not a flawed product, but a breathtaking work of art. What this perspective does is shift your sense of value from the outside world to your intrinsic nature. Your worth is no longer tied to your job title, your bank account, the number on the scale, or the likes on your latest post. Your worth is a fact of your creation. It's a core truth. It's non-negotiable. When you start to internalize this, the entire game changes. The inner critic's voice begins to lose its power, because it's arguing against a fundamental, unshakable truth. When it says, "You're a failure," a deeper voice can respond, "My performance doesn't define my worth. I am wonderfully made." When it says, "You're not attractive enough," a deeper voice can respond, "My body is the vessel that was knit together with care. Its value is not up for public debate." When it says, "You're unlovable," a deeper voice can respond, "I was created by love, for love. My capacity to give and receive love is part of my design." This isn't about arrogance or ego. In fact, it's the opposite. Ego is about propping up a fragile sense of self. True self-worth, rooted in this kind of truth, is quiet, humble, and steady. It doesn't need to shout, because it knows what it is. So, how do we make this foundational truth a felt reality? How do we take it from a nice idea to a lived experience? This is where the practical work begins. First, you must learn to challenge your inner critic directly. Don't just accept its pronouncements as fact. When you hear that negative voice, stop. Imagine it's a separate person talking to you. Then, question it like a lawyer. The voice says, "You always mess things up." Ask it, "Always? Can you provide evidence of a time I didn't mess things up? Can you recall a time I succeeded?" The voice is a master of exaggeration and black and white thinking. By questioning it, you introduce shades of gray. You introduce reality. You're not, always, anything. You are a complex human who sometimes succeeds and sometimes stumbles, just like everyone else. Second, practice active self-compassion. Dr. Kristen Neff, a leading researcher on this topic, defines self-compassion as offering the same kindness to yourself that you would offer to a good friend. When your friend fails an exam, do you call them a stupid, worthless loser? Of course not. You say, "That's so tough. You studied hard, and this is a disappointing result. What can we do to prepare for the next one? I'm here for you." Why do we refuse to offer ourselves that same grace? Start treating yourself like a friend. When you make a mistake, acknowledge the pain and disappointment without judgment. Remind yourself that suffering and imperfection are part of the shared human experience. It's not just you. Then, offer yourself words of comfort and encouragement. Third, start a strengths inventory, or a win log. Your inner critic has trained you to have a laser focus on your flaws. You need to actively retrain your brain to see the good. Every day, write down 3 things you did well. They don't have to be monumental. I handled a difficult conversation with patience. I finished a workout even when I didn't feel like it. I made a stranger smile. Over time, you will build a library of evidence that directly contradicts the narrative of your inner critic. You are competent. You are capable. You have value to offer. Fourth, set small, achievable goals to build a sense of mastery. Low self-esteem often makes us feel powerless. The antidote to powerlessness is agency. Start with something incredibly small, a goal you know you can achieve. Today, I will make my bed. Today, I will go for a 10-minute walk. Today, I will drink a full glass of water when I wake up. Each time you set a small intention and follow through, you send a message to your subconscious mind. I am someone who does what they say they will do. You are building trust with yourself. These small victories create momentum for bigger ones. Finally, consciously curate your environment. Your self-esteem is like a plant. It needs the right conditions to grow. If you're constantly exposing it to toxic soil and polluted water, it will wither. Unfollow the social media accounts that trigger your comparison and self-doubt. You are in control of your feed. Fill it with things that are inspiring, educational, or just plain joyful. And most importantly, examine your relationships. Spend more time with people who see and affirm the truth of who you are. The friends who celebrate your wins, who sit with you in your losses, and who remind you of your inherent worth when you forget. Distance yourself, gently but firmly, from those who constantly criticize or tear you down. This journey of overcoming low self-esteem is not a quick fix. It's a process of unlearning decades of faulty programming and relearning a profound truth. There will be days when the old voice feels loud and the new truth feels distant. That's okay. That's part of the process. On those days, come back to the anchor. Come back to the truth that you were intentionally designed, carefully crafted, and wonderfully made. Your value is not a stock that goes up and down with your daily performance. It is a fixed, intrinsic, and beautiful reality. You are not a problem to be solved. You are not a mistake. You are a masterpiece in progress, fearfully and wonderfully made. And knowing that, truly knowing that in your bones, changes everything.